Zoomed in there.
Hey, welcome back to another edition of Ego on Break. Logan Creed, he's confused. I'm Dynamite J. Andrews, and today is a wet day.
Yes,
we apologize in advance if you hear the raindrops, because I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But we'll try to make this as interesting as possible. Maybe the madman will go off on some people. Who knows? So,
trying to rouse somebody, get shot.
yeah, and then how dare you shoot me? I was just playing.
Gun aimed at me, you wouldn't.
Yeah, so right before we jumped on here, we saw a clip of a
moron.
Yeah, of a lady throwing a fit because her brother got shot at Dollar General as he was attempting to rob it. She wanted to know why you shoot him. All he was doing was pointing a gun at you. You shouldn't have had no gun at work. Well, I mean, I agree with her. If you're gonna rob a place, I definitely don't want you to have guns there. But you know, if you do, I guess I'll sue your company. You know, my family will sue your company.
It won't work.
Yeah, I think they probably get about 30,000.
The judge's gonna laugh at them.
Yeah. You think?
I think.
Yeah, let's see. But hey, in the world of professional wrestling, I watched very little.
You're no help.
So I did watch NWA Powerrr.
Yeah.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah, I love
it. In a world of WWE and WWE like-minded people, it was nice to see something completely different. So
nothing like WWE except wrestling.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was almost over the top, campy, which was okay. I saw this. Someone said, you know, AEW is doing great now, but how long will it last doing the type of stuff they're doing? And I kind of feel that same way for this. How long will it last doing that? I don't know.
I don't know, because the way they're doing it is YouTube and Facebook, right?
Yeah, maybe. I know YouTube for sure. But overall, I enjoyed it. But it's just one of those, I mean, you know, you're going to have more than just squash matches, you know.
Well, they had more than just squash
well, they
matches.
had
a couple that were just, you know, even matches.
Yeah, but they were meant to highlight one guy, not the other, you know.
Yeah.
The only match that was halfway not a squash was the main event, and it was good. I enjoyed Magnus and Tim Storm. So
yeah, I did too. We met Tim Storm one night when he went through a door with Wardell Walker.
Yeah, I've been on a few events with Tim Storm, working for BIW, and a few times I went down to Elite Championship Wrestling down in Louisiana. So Tim's a cool guy.
Big boy too.
Yes, he's huge, and great shape to be as old as he is. So.
But that was his last chance, supposedly.
Yeah, last chance to get a NWA title shot. That was very cool. It was cool seeing Sal Renaro on there. It was cool seeing Billy Buck.
I didn't recognize Sal. He had that beard.
Yeah. It was cool seeing the Dawson. So a lot of people, Caleb Conley, a lot of people we know or know of. So it was really cool to see those guys. So what did you think about the wild cards? The tag team?
Not bad. For bigger guys, I got what I expected.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't no luchador.
No, not the Dawsons. Not the guys in all black. The guy in the kilt, like the tag champions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Make sure we're talking about the same tag team.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. I thought James Storm kind of jobbed out, old boy. So.
Well, they laid that on and on and on, and then he super kicked him in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And the only thing I hated about it was, like, he was supposed to be like this big scary monster, and then all of a sudden became like this coward who worked behind a desk or something. I mean, like, you know, how would Kamala be if he'd come out screaming and then going, "Oh, you know, sir, what I'll do is just sit right down here and type you up a letter." Like, I don't think it would have worked. So I was a little confused with the Josephus character.
Well, the stuff I'd always seen, he had real long hair and was doing like
a Bruiser Brody type thing.
Well, kind of that, but he was also supposed to be like a leader of a cult.
Yeah.
Where he was cutting this great promo, and he seemed like. But the short hair threw me off.
Yeah.
It really did.
I think just James like turned his whole it's like shot him down so bad like he couldn't ever get back up. You know. So. But overall, the Power Hour or Power Minute or whatever it was called was pretty cool. So check that out.
It was too.
Yeah, yeah, Powerrr. MLW this week. I started watching MLW. And just really couldn't get behind it. Like, it just wasn't a good episode.
I saw the whole thing, unfortunately.
Did you? Well, I haven't made it all through. I'm about halfway through. So the promos are pretty good. That's in it. I mean, I think that's their high point.
That's always their strong point.
Yeah.
Always.
And I think it's just kind of being out of that, what you're normally, like what you're used to seeing, just kind of took me out of it.
Well, that and they had a three-way that made no sense at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, it started off as a handicap match. They beat the hell out of the poor guy.
Poor dude, they beat him down.
I was like...
but it wasn't, like, for the traditional lucha-style match stuff, it was pretty decent.
He's okay.
Like, I like some lucha, but it's hard for me to get into a lot of times. And I think it's just really because I don't know the guys. I haven't invested in those workers, so...
Well, the main event is the two LA Park brothers. And they're fighting the Dynasty. And this is the quietest crowd ever. Like, it felt like I was in Japan. And
crowd will take you out of it sometimes.
And
maybe that's what it was.
Literally was. Like, it took me out of the whole match, and it wasn't a bad match.
Right.
And I didn't realize La Parka had two sons. Because this guy looks just like La Parka.
Does he?
Yeah,
I haven't made it that far, so...
Now, he isn't as fat as La Parka, because La Parka's older.
So he's doing the same, like, mask gimmick?
Yeah, looks just like his daddy. You'd thought it was him walking out of WCW. Wow. I thought he was him for about half the match, and they're like, that's La Parka Jr. I'm like, I thought that's La Parka Jr.
No, that's
and, like, and then they said that, and I was like, and the one guy goes, well, hell, it looks just like his daddy.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
You definitely can look like your dad when you wear a mask.
costume, yeah. So, I was like, wow.
I mean, you know, if I put a mask on, I could be Rey Mysterio's kid.
So, that you get beat up by Brock.
I'm a Still a Fury mask and be Ray Fury.
There you go. You can't do that. That's a different character. But
I'll be his cousin Fury.
Nephew, uncle, sister, mama.
So how do you rank MLW up, middle, or down?
It didn't feel like MLW.
Yeah, I agree.
It was Crash Wrestling, whatever Crash Wrestling is. I never watched that before. And it just didn't feel like MLW.
Yeah, I agree with
Even
that.
with them calling the match, it didn't feel like MLW.
What do you think about the new guy that was calling?
He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad at all.
So.
It's not Tony Schiavone, which is my favorite, but he wasn't bad.
I agree. I watched some of AEW.
Yeah, I watched all of it.
What'd you think? Still good?
No, I thought it was better than the first show, to be honest.
Yep, I did too.
Didn't have a god-awful women's singles match. It was actually a good women's tag match that made sense. Some people were selling that should have sold for each other. It looked really good. I actually enjoyed that match. Probably the best, to be honest.
The coolest thing I think is they're doing AEW Dark on YouTube.
Yeah, I've watched it.
So they're showing all the other matches that take place at that. So that's pretty cool.
There's supposed to be a match there this week between Janela and Omega.
Okay. Did you watch any NXT?
30-minute match. No.
I didn't either.
I just don't really have time to watch
so much
NXT.
time. Yep.
I watched the Ring of Honor pay-per-view this weekend that was in Louisiana.
Yeah.
I saw Luke Hawx and his son face the Briscoes. And I really wasn't a big fan of Luke Hawx's son until I watched this match.
Yeah.
And this match really showed a lot of it.
Very cool.
In all honesty.
Like I say, the match
good.
with In Row where they... it was just getting good, and I was like,
I'm telling you, if you get a chance to watch this one, it was really, really good. They don't win, they don't get the titles, but it was just cool to see them get a title shot.
Yep. Very cool, though. So that's what we watched. We got the Great Southern 8 coming up this Saturday in Pearl. Looking forward to that. Gonna have a lot of previous participants, previous winners, and some guys that we wanted in the tournament, and for whatever reason they couldn't be in the tournament. So looking forward to this. I'm gonna have huge matches.
You have to tell me the results. So.
Yep. So we'll definitely tell you the results. This guy's abandoned ship.
I didn't. I had a trip planned for a year. I didn't know you were gonna move to October.
Yeah, it's a little different. We're hoping maybe the October will help us out.
Can you help me out? I get to miss it.
Yeah. November's been tough. With the tournament, with Christmas and stuff like that.
Football.
And so we're hoping that October may be a little better on us, trying something a little different. So I'm looking forward to that. We had talked about it last week. The guy, one of our watchers said, hey, what about some people that were not liked but should have been champion?
Oh, no, I was going to bring that up because the end of Ring of Honor was this tournament they're doing for the shot at the champion. And it come down between Marty Scurll and PCO. And to me, PCO fit what you were talking about with that gimmick.
Yeah, but a lot of people like him. This is like people.
But they didn't. He had this stupid pirate gimmick that was freaking awful. And he was the Mountie. It ain't like anybody liked those two gimmicks.
And he was.
But now they're like
the Masked X.
They're like 50-something years old. Now can he get the title? Will he be the Terry Funk, basically?
That's
so
a cool
I thought that
story,
was
though.
kind of cool because look, the Villain Enterprises come out. They all whooped on his butt, and he's like, "And you took my shot away." He goes, "But at 53 years old, I'm glad you can, and let's see if you can become the champion that you've
Okay,
always
so
wanted to be."
PCO is not part of Villain Inc.
No, he was, but that's what I'm saying, because it was like Leader versus the Monster,
Okay.
and they were fighting, and here come the two other guys, and they was whooping on him too, and they were trying to help him win the match for Skrull, and Skrull loses and lost to the PCO.
So PCO is the champion.
Yeah, well, no,
He gets the title
he
shot.
gets the title shot. So
Like
now
it's
it's going
Roosh.
to be Roosh versus PCO.
That's gonna be interesting.
So I think so too.
Very interesting. So, I mentioned last week, I thought Henry Godwin would have been a guy that could have been a champion. Maybe a different version of Henry Godwin. Maybe not the, I wear overalls and a slop bucket and I'm slopping pigs.
They tried to suit that crap, didn't work neither.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed
But it
some.
didn't last long.
No. But I think he's a guy that he was huge. He had a great look. He could work his butt off.
Mm-hmm.
He maybe if you could have put him with like a manager or something, maybe just tweaked his character just a little bit to make him more, serious instead of, I slop pig. Maybe I'm the guy that cuts the pig's heads off to make bacon or something. Made him a little scary. Like maybe he comes out with like a pig head on a stick or something like that. Kind of would have been like Lord of the Flies esque. So that would have been cool.
Weren't they Young Justice or
Southern Justice,
That's
yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
So that'd be my first pick. Do you have a pick?
God, what was the guy's name? Well, I guess he was kind of a fan favorite, but they never went anywhere with it. I think he might have won the IC belt, but Tatanka, I didn't ever think Tatanka went as high as he should have.
Yeah, when he came back and he turned heel, that was some really good stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like they would start the push with him, and then it just kind of go.
Yeah.
It would just even out instead of keep going with it.
Right. Okay, Tatanka. I mean, I could definitely see that, for sure.
Yeah.
Another guy, and I don't know if I would have this could have been a WWF World Champion or a WCW or whatever, but definitely when he was in World Class or something, or maybe WWF. But I think Kamala would have been a cool champion.
I think he would have been one of those out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely not a long-term champion by no means, but that monster that really came in and just hurt the baby face, and then he had to fight back up and get it. I definitely think Kamala could have been a really cool champion, just because it would have been so different. Especially when you had Friday or Kim Chi or whoever out there with him, and maybe you could have put Cornette with him or something. But definitely,
or they could have just let him go. Hey, he really does speak English, and he's not from the island of.
I don't know. I'm a big character-based, fan, so I really dug that. But when Skandar was managing him or whatever, that could have been really cool. Yeah.
Flame on.
Another guy, I think, and he kind of fit similar in this role, would have been One Man Gang.
Gang. I always thought Gang should have at least had one of the bigger belts.
Yeah.
I think he had the U.S. belt. That was the highest.
Especially if you go back and watch him younger Gang, when he was in World Class, he's jumping off the top rope and stuff. I definitely think Gang, again, could have fit that role as that short-term monster that could have unseated the babyface for a short period of time. So to me, those would have been cool guys, and I don't think they're really those are the guys you think about when you think about. They're my favorites, and more of a modern guy, I think would have been Wade Barrett.
Wade, I think
he wasn't
Wade
ever champion, right?
He had a good shot, and then John Cena kind of blew that. So.
I mean, not necessarily bad news, but just think how cool it would have been if as leader of the Nexus when they first came out, if he could have had the title and been this young, fresh,
that was
heel
the
group.
plan, and it seems we got to go over at Survivor Series, and then they went over at Survivor Series and they broke up Nexus the next night.
I always thought Nexus was kind of
that storyline.
It was kind of something that could have been, but never was. You have anybody from maybe NWA or anything like that, that you could think of that would have been a cool champion?
I was, a guy, and again, he was a fan favorite. He was even a champion, but it was always a tag champion. But I always thought Robert Gibson would have been a good singles big belt champion because he had always had so much sympathy, always, and he was a good worker. Go back and find the matches with him and Ric Flair.
You talking about Ricky Morton?
Yeah, Ricky Morton. I said Robert Gibson. I said the wrong one. I always said the wrong one. But yeah. Robert wasn't a bad worker by any means. He just didn't have the promo skills that Ricky had. That's
you know, Stan Lane might have could have been a guy too.
Yeah.
Like, because he had a great look. You know, super in shape. So I definitely think that could have been cool.
And another, to me, the heel that always wanted to be the world champion at least once was Regal.
Yeah.
Because they never did. I think they were supposed to have been 2 times, and he was supposed to go on.
Really?
And his little problem kind of jumped in there every once in a while.
Yeah, it sucks when you have problems.
Yeah. So.
And, you know, this had recently been like on something to wrestle with or whatever. They did the episode about Matt Bourne and Doink and all that. And it's like, you know, could you have really seen Doink as the WWF champion? He's like, yeah, like it could have been kind of like WrestleMania 9 where they had like the themed WrestleMania. Could have this whole circus thing. Like, evil Doink would have been cool.
There's always a way to do somebody, but you got to book it the right way. If it's booked like crap, it's going to look like crap. Ask Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is, you know. But,
well, speaking of Bray Wyatt, let me ask you this. This was brought up in a conversation earlier today that I was having with JD Jenkins. And, like, Bray Wyatt's character, when it first came out, was very similar to The Undertaker's. It wasn't the whole, I'm the dead zombie guy, you know, you can't kill me, but it just had that feel to it.
well, which one? Bray Wyatt or The Fiend?
No, Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
Do you think at any level Bray could have, let's say everything worked perfect for Bray, could he have replaced The Undertaker? Could people like Undertaker who? Or like, would Undertaker always been bigger than Bray?
Undertaker's legacy will
See, that's what I said too. It's like, no matter how successful Bray would be, he would never be The Undertaker. Like, no matter how successful Cena was, or was going to be, he was never going to replace Hulk Hogan. You know, like, because that's
always
essentially
be compared to.
Right, but
always.
you know,
I mean, Hogan was compared to superstar Billy Graham.
Right.
You're always compared to somebody.
But like, you know, if you do your job right, nobody can take your spot. You know, and I definitely think that's a message. You know, like, don't worry about other people. Like, do you and do you well, and everything you want will come. Nobody can replace you. You know, so. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was kind of having that conversation. Because he was saying like The Fiend is getting really good, like, you know, whatever, like people are getting behind it and stuff. But I'm like, no matter how successful, like he'll never be. Like, I think he could have been the guy to replace The Undertaker, like with that character of like, holy crap, it's this guy. But he would never be that guy, you know. You know, no matter how good Sin Cara was, he wasn't going to replace Rey Mysterio, you know, or insert whoever, you know. No matter, you know, Umaga could never take Kamala's place because it was very similar characters. But I mean, really, just it's just really to think about how, you know, people get over to the level they're getting over. Sorry, there was a guy screaming at a dog in the rain, so a little different. But distractions, you know.
Yes, I understand.
But to get back to the thing, like, is there an ROH guy you thought could have been world like ROH champion and wasn't?
Yes, Jimmy Rave.
Jimmy Rave.
When Jimmy Rave was such a heel and everything,
Toilet
paper and all that, I'd have slapped the belt on him like a big dog.
Yeah.
And they never did.
You know, somebody I thought about is Donovan Dijak.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he would have been cool as a champion, as well as Punishment Martinez. Like, thought he could have been a cool champion as well.
Well, he's in NXT.
Yeah, both of those guys are. Donovan Dijak is Donovan Dijakovac Malarkey or something. He's got a really long name.
I'm good with 4 letters. That's about it.
But yeah, he I think all those guys could have been cool. Even, like, what about WCW? Anybody in WCW you could think of?
That's what I was trying to think. I'm trying to go down the roster. Because one that they put on the world belt on, I never expected was Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I didn't think Steiner would never be nothing more than U.S. or a tag champion.
You know, somebody who I think Saturn.
Perry,
maybe
yes.
maybe not WCW, but like he could have been a really cool ECW champion.
So I think WCW. I always think Raven. That was my favorite character in WCW.
I loved Raven. For sure.
And see, that's how I didn't want to pick him because I'm like, well, hell, he was loved. So.
Yeah, but like I think Saturn, like, man, like, because they would put him over even in WCW, like, you know how innovative he was. He did this and that, and he was a legit badass. And I definitely think he could have been a guy.
I wasn't a fan of how this guy worked, but he could work the microphone, and I think that could have worked as him being a world champion. But Ernest Miller,
Yeah.
Ernest was great on the microphone. And after I saw him in The Wrestler, I realized like he can do real wrestling. He just didn't.
Yeah. All right, here's my last one, and this is somebody I thought about and I forgot, and then that just reminded me. And I'm probably going to cut. Huh?
Glacier.
No, I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack off of this. So please be kind in the comments when you're hating on me. But I think Johnny B. Bad could have been a world champion in WCW.
No, Johnny was a good worker.
Like, there's a lot of people that bash him, and
Yeah,
if you go
don't
back,
miss.
yeah, I'm saying if you go back and watch him, like the guy really was over. Like,
Yes.
and I think with the right, backing, the right push, the right, everything falling in place. Like, do I think you would put the title on forever? No, but like definitely a little short. Could have upset a big monster heel or something like that. Caught him with a kiss that don't miss, boom, and got him. But like I really enjoyed Johnny B. Bad. Like I think he's one of my favorites.
I think of Johnny B. Bad. He was doing that promo with Pillman, and he put the kiss on him.
Yeah.
And Pillman hauled off and knocked the shit out of him. That's what I always think of you. And I remember Gene Oker standing there like, yeah, and that happened.
But yeah, hey guys, this has been kind of what we've done this week in wrestling, what we watched. Kind of our thoughts on some guys that were not fan favorites that maybe could have been champion.
Well, I'm pulling for PCO. I hope he does get it. I think it'd be really cool.
I don't think he's going to get it.
I just hope he does.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool.
I'm a big fan. He
But,
started wearing this jacket. I was going to tell you. And the jacket's kind of puffy. And it looks like a Frankenstein jacket. So now he kind of looks like Frankenstein's monster.
He definitely is.
Well, he basically has the Frankenstein monster gimmick. Wake your ass up.
So if you're asleep, he can shock you. And till next time,
Watch wrestling.
watch wrestling.